Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to figure out a method to integrate between MongoDB and Prestodb using Docker image. These are the prerequisites: Docker, Prestodb, MongoDB, SQL query, and data lakehouse. Docker is a container that is used to maintain set of softwares as a package. Prestodb is a query engine that is used to manipulate huge amount of data, which is in petabyte and gigabyte in a fraction of a second. MongoDB. There is a NoSQL database management system that can able to store huge amount of data in the form of JSON object. SQL query. We suppose to have this understanding. Why? Because we can able to manipulate entire data in the Prestodb using SQL query only. Because SQL query is the only source to manipulate the data from the external database. Data lakehouse. Basically, this is a concept you suppose to have a high level understanding. Data lakehouse is nothing but maintaining structured, unstructured, and semi-structured data. Let's move on to Prestodb internal architecture. So you can see here there is a user interface, Presto coordinator, Presto worker, and database. You can use any user interface like Presto CLI, JDBC, Tableau, Looker, Apache Superset, Jupyter, etc. But in our case, we are going to use a Presto CLI. Consider like we are going to use some SQL query via Presto CLI. The query will be forwarded to the coordinator. The coordinator will be taking care of the parsing to manipulate the query and interpret it to pass it to scheduler. The scheduler will distribute the data or query to different workers. So the workers will do the parallel processing and manipulate the query to external database via Presto connectors. The Presto connector, in the sense there are multiple connectors are there: MySQL, Elasticsearch, Kafka, MongoDB, etc. Each one having a dedicated connectors. In case if you wanted to check the connectors, go to the official Prestodb documentation. Here you can see list of connectors over here. Probably I will add this connector, add this link in the description. Go back to the original slide. Alright. So let's move on to the demo. So in our case, we are going to show a demo using Docker image. Okay. So I have two Docker containers. One is Prestodb, which is sponsored by Ahana. Other one is a MongoDB, which is from the official side. So in case if you wanted to find the specific Docker image based on the tag number, just copy it, go to the respective Docker hub. Yeah, I already searched for that. The history is already here. Okay, searching again, you can find the list of tags here. In our case, we are going to use a tag called 280. You can see here. So then we are going to give some container name for the identification. Then we are doing a volume mount, and then depends on ports, networks. Prestodb having a dashboard, that's why we wanted to expose this port number as 808. But depends on MongoDB. Basically, I want to run the MongoDB once the Prestodb has been loaded. Then next, volume mount. So as I said before, if you wanted to communicate between Prestodb and MongoDB, we suppose have a connector. So the connectors will be listed in the form of catalogs. You can see there is a folder called catalog. So under the catalog, you can find the configuration files. If you click on the MongoDB configuration file, you can see the connector name. So you can give any connector name, but if in our case I have given as a MongoDB, then you have to give the connection string. Okay, so the connection string I have given Presto-Mongo and the respective port number. You can ask me why there is a Presto-Mongo. When you go to the respective MongoDB container, I can see there is a connector name called Presto-Mongo. If I have a Presto-Mongo connector name, container name, then of course I have to provide that one. Okay, or either I can provide the private IP. You can ask me why the private IP came. You can see here I'm creating something called a network. The network name is Presto-NW. In our case, I'm going to run both of this container under this network. So it will create their own private network. If there's a specific private network, if you wanted to communicate with the specific Docker private network, you have to expose the port number. That's why you are exposing the port number. Okay, so I'm going to run this Docker image. Docker compose up. So in our case, I already pulled all the Docker image. In case if you haven't pulled the Docker image, when you are running this Docker compose file, it will pull the Docker image layer by layer first. Once that is completed, then only it will run the Docker image. In our case, I already run the Docker image, so the container should be created. To ensure the Docker image, so let me go to Docker image command, then grab it, use Mongo-Presto pipeline. All right, here you can see there's something called Prestodb here. The version number is 0.280. Okay, this is the one we are referring for the Presto. And for the Mongo, I already have multiple Mongo versions for different purpose, but in our case we are using 6.0.4. okay, so now we are ensured that both Docker images are running and both are in up. Okay, so once you run the Docker image, the Docker images will be listed in the container form. So for that, Docker ps-a. Okay, you can see there are two containers which is listed in the Docker. Okay, now I wanted to show you the private network. Okay, so Docker network ls. All right, there are multiple networks. Out of that, this is our network. Docker inspect network name. All right, so here you can see there are two containers running under one single network. So of course, if you need a network, we need a gateway, subnet mask, etc. So here, this is a gateway. Okay, under this gateway, there are two Docker images are running. Okay, so each one having a specific identification. For the Presto, we have the container name called Presto. For Mongo, we have a container name called Presto-Mongo. But the thing is, these names will be working like an alias. So here you can see this is the actual IP. Okay, so this is the IP for the specific Mongo container, and this is the IP for the specific Presto container. Okay, if you wanted to ensure that, just copy any one of them, go here, ping. See, you can able to communicate now. In case if you wanted to make sure the port number, I have exposed a port number called 8080, right? Oh, in here it's a MongoDB. The port number is 27017. All right, use a telnet command. Telnet command here 27. All right, see the respective MongoDB is connected. It means like the based on the command wise it's connected. Okay, now I have to go to Presto CLI. As I shown you in the slide, so we have to access any user interface, right? So we are going to Presto CLI. Okay, so here clear. Okay, so I'm going to access this container. Presto CLI. Okay, now I want to show you the list of catalogs. So okay, so there are multiple catalogs, but those are default catalogs. But in our case, MongoDB is the catalog what we have right now. So I have to access this catalog, but before that, I'm planning to show some set of schemas which is under the MongoDB. Okay, so schemas in MongoDB. Okay, these are the default schemas. So even though when you are accessing MongoDB, you can find the same thing. Okay, let me go to the terminal here. Okay, Docker ps, Docker if MongoDB, Mongo shell. Okay, I'm in. Show databases. See, admin config logo. You can find admin config logo. So this information schema is basically defaulted from Prestodb. Okay. Now, in our case, I have to create a new collection, right? So I cannot create a collection just like that. For that, we suppose have a database. So I'm going to create a database, use code 45. All right, I created a database. Now I have to create a collection, right? I have a collection query already. Okay, let's create a collection. Collection name book. The next one is I have to insert the data for the collection. Okay, I'm going to insert 2 books. Yeah, let's find the collection dot find dot a. Yeah, so there are 2 collections. The advantage here is like once I create the collection, the MongoDB, it will get updated or synced to the Prestodb as well. In vice versa, in case if I am creating something on the Prestodb under the Mongo catalog, that also automatically sync to MongoDB. It means if I created any table in the Prestodb, that table also will be synced to the MongoDB. Okay, so here I already created the collection called the book. So anyway, I will show the collections. Okay, there is a one collection called the book. Let's go to Prestodb. Now I wanted to see the collection. Okay, so here the show collections command will not work out because Prestodb will understand only SQL query. Okay, so first of all, I have to show the tables. Show tables. I have to put this as show tables, which is inside MongoDB. Sorry, I have to but we have something called database, so we have to access a database as well. Code Spotify. Sorry, I have to use the database first. Use MongoDB because we are not inside the catalog yet. We have to go inside the catalog. Use MongoDB code Spotify. All right. So now show tables. Okay, you can see the same table can be accessed here. It means like once I create it, it's immediately sync back to the Prestodb. So hope initially I explained the high level designs, right? High level architecture. So if they are going to communicate each other, they're supposed to have a connector. The connector is called the Mongo connector. So based on the connector, it will be auto synced. So let me select this table. Select star from table name. Yeah, the same 2 records. You can go to MongoDB shell, the same 2 records. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a table in Prestodb. Okay, let's see whether that table is getting synced with MongoDB. Okay, all right, I have a SQL query. Okay, table created. I'm going to insert 2 records, I mean 2 author names, column. Oh, you have to put single quotes, not double quotes. All right, now it's created. Again, here also we have to follow single quotes. Okay, okay, so now 2 records are inserted. Let's select the table. From table name, the table name is author. Okay, you can see there are there are two records available here. One is Rollins, other one is Early Black. Both are two different authors. Okay, so now show tables. So there are two tables. One is author and other one is a book. Book is created from MongoDB and author is created from Prestodb. Let's go and check in the MongoDB whether the author table is getting reflected. Go here, show collections. Come on, see, you can find the collection here. So db dot collection name dot find dot. Okay, see, the both records are available here. You can go to the Prestodb to do the comparison. Okay, yeah, so this is the author table. I have two records, Rolling and Holy Black. Similarly, I have two records from the MongoDB. Okay, thank you. I will add this code, or I will I will update this code in the GitHub, and I will add the reference in the description. You can refer from there. Thank you. That's all for today.